The game itself, we'll get to that now. It was a classic. I thought it was anyway, as I watched it 50 years ago. A more dramatic script couldn't have been written. It was a hot, sticky evening in Chicago Stadium, and that made the ice soft and sticky, and that may have been the great equalizer for a tired Montreal team and a Chicago team which one would think would be boosted by the raucous home ice crowd. We're going to let Pat Curran of the Montreal Gazette tell the story of the game. Pat writes, Henry Richard sat coolly in the eye of the storm. Champagne bottles popped. Everyone was shouting, and it seemed every would-be Montreal Canadiens fan around the Windy City had jumped on the Stanley Cup bandwagon. But hidden in the delirious throng, sitting calmly, while a small group of writers braved champagne showers, Henry Richard kept his sanity. Henry sat in the exact same spot where only last Thursday he had blasted his coach in an unprecedented fit of anger. And with smiles of relief and victory, he talked about his two big goals that turned the tide as the Canadiens staged another tremendous comeback to beat the Chicago Blackhawks 3-2 in the showdown game of the 1971 Stanley Cup Final. On Richard's first two goals of the series, after Jacques Lemaire had beaten hot goalie Tony Esposito on a high bullet from outside the blue line, the Canadiens had rallied from a 2-0 deficit to take the win. Dennis Hull had scored on a power play for Chicago in the first period, while only Ken Dryden's superb goaltending kept them from getting any more. It was 2-0 for the home forces when Danny O'Shea connected at the 8-minute mark of the middle period, and that's when it looked like the Hawks could really start thinking about taking this Stanley Cup. We did the first one in 10 years. Richard said that was the greatest, referring to his 10th Stanley Cup victory. Who's had 10 Stanley Cup wins? Never happen again. Richard said the greatest win because we're always the underdogs this year, first against Boston and then in this series, and for me, it's a great relief. It was obvious from the start the 35-year-old Richard was going to give it everything he had, and he did exactly that. He came through with two picture play goals. Henry scored the game winner. Lemaire had actually got Montreal into the game. We'll talk about that in a minute. But then Henry scored two, the tying and winning goals. And this is what the winning goal sounded like.
Lapointe starting out with Hull. Coral is tied up behind the net. Here's Richard going in on goal. He scores! Richard takes the shot.
Well, at the game's end, the Canadiens threw their sticks high in the air, and Dryden was the first to be mobbed by teammates before President Clarence Campbell presented the Stanley Cup to the Montreal team for the 16th time. But many of them, led by Big Peter Mahovlich, made a point of congratulating personally Coach Al McNeil. At least one of the players took a stand for McNeil afterwards. I hope he's back, said Jacques Lemaire. Is there anyone who doesn't make a few mistakes? It was Lemaire's surprising goal that started Canadiens on their big comeback, and we will give you the description from Danny Gallivan and Dick Irvin as they talk about this goal that, as far as everyone else could see, as far as I was concerned, this turned the entire game. The Hawks were leading 2-0 at this point.
Well, they're leading the attack now. Comes down, winds up for the shot. Scores! Lemaire, a long shot. And Canadiens right back into contention. It's 2-1 for Chicago. That makes it 2-1. A tough break for Tony Esposito. That has to be the longest goal scored in this playoff year into a net occupied by a goaltender as Lemaire winds up just as he hits the red line and lets it go about 15 feet in front of the blue line. Esposito's on his knees.
Jacques Lemaire explained how he scored this goal that turned the game and, in fact, the entire series around. Jacques said, "They told us that Esposito was weak on high shots, but in the last game here, we did everything and we couldn't beat him up high. I had a lot on that shot with lots of time because the defense started backing in. When it got tough, our team got good, and that's why we won." Of course, one of the biggest reasons for the Canadiens' victory was the rookie goalie, Ken Dryden. Late in the game, actually throughout the game, but it took 3 great stops, especially one late in the game, for the Canadiens to win. Hardly a fan in the 21,000 jammed stadium could believe how Dryden had stopped Jimmy Pappen at the side of the Montreal net late in the game. Keith Magnuson had shot from the right boards for a save by the giant Montreal goalie, and Pappen took the rebound just 3 feet out. He snapped a quick shot. He didn't waste any time, only to somehow see Dryden's leg snake out from the middle of nowhere to deny the goal. Probably on that save alone, that capacity crowd in Chicago Stadium would believe that Dryden, who was the first rookie to help a Stanley Cup winner since Frank McCool with the Leafs in 1945, they to a person probably believed that Dryden deserved the Conn Smythe Trophy, $1,500 prize money, and the brand new car that goes with it. Asked how he managed to make such a miraculous stop, Dryden said, "I saw Magnuson shoot and I knew Pappen would be right there at the goal mouth. It was just instinct. I guess that I just shoved out my leg to make the save and the puck hit it." All told, Ken Dryden made 31 stops in this game compared to 22 by Esposito. Dryden, accepting the Conn Smythe Trophy, was late coming into the dressing room when someone reached for a bottle of champagne. Ken says, "If you got any 7-Up, I'd rather have that. I just don't know what to say about the trophy with everything coming on top of the Stanley Cup. And I just don't know what to say about this team. At times it got discouraging the way things we were behind and we were always fighting back. But in the end, this was most exciting." Jean Beliveau, the team's captain, people feel this may have been his last game. Well, he summed up the victory in one short, emotional sentence. Jean said, "This just shows where the heart is."